How y'all doing? Today, well, next couple of days probably, we're working on this little chair. This is a Hollywood Regency style chair from the 50s, give or take. Got this at a little garage sale several months ago, but you know, it's been sitting in the house, and our cat, who's horrendously fat, has decided he wants this chair, and he's covered it in some cat hair, which we'll clean up. But these legs are just awful. They're wobbly. They don't sit square. Hey, this one's leaned back. If you sit right here, you're gonna flop over. So it's got a nice little turntable top on it, and so we're gonna fix this thing up. First, we gotta deconstruct it. It ain't no Jimmy DeResta, but let me tell you about this little stinking thing. This was a nice little pen blank that I was working on. The 12-cent pen kit from Captain Eddie. So, got this nice little piece of wood. It's hard. And this is a drill bit, a little 1/8 inch, 6-inch long drill bit that I used for the mandrel. Well, it's stuck. And it's stuck bad. I can't even get it out. So I just sharpened the end of it. There you go. It's a knockoff DeResta ice pick, if you want to say. I'm going to dig out some of these holes in here and see if there's any screws down in here. Ugh. Solid piece of MDF. Nice little edge routed out around here. Hell, I didn't even know they used MDF back then. I'm going to try and just leave this intact. I do have some, you can see that. There's some little dowels in here, and a couple down in here. You can just barely see them in there, so I may have to knock those out if I can get this thing apart. See if we can get a couple staples out of this damn thing. These are all doweled together right in here. So what I'm going to do is I don't know. We'll think about this for a minute and we'll come back. Alright. So I got this little piece out of here. This little piece, I believe this is the major failure to this, because it was just held in by a bunch of these little staples. That's it. Little bitty shoddy piece of wood glue on the corner, little piece there. So there's about 6 of these holding on this leg that's got, shut it, dog. Anyway, there's double dowels, top and bottom, that's holding this leg in, which aren't too bad. It's pretty sturdy, but they're trying to keep this with the weight of a person with some staples and some shoddy glue. So I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and take all of these little braces out, and then probably get some wood glue down in here with a nice little popsicle stick or something, and then I'm going to pre-drill these, stick them back in, put some little screws in, glue these in good, clamp them in, and then I'll pre-drill the back and pre-drill this leg so I can put a nice sturdy screw in there, because these are pretty stout little pieces. But I mean, I was cranking on them with a pair of channel locks just to get those screws out, and they didn't crack or nothing. So this actually looks like a little piece of oak. It looks like some white oak in here. So these will be pretty good to reuse. stick back in here, and I think with some screws and some new wood glue, maybe a band clamp to get these suckers in here, I think we may be on the right track. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove all the rest of these, and then I'm not gonna make you watch that, and then we'll get back to this. All right, so I was just gonna try and quick fix it, but I went ahead and deconstructed the whole chair. Now you can see here I've got legs are apart, and all of these legs have dowel joinery, but the glue joints just gave up. So overall, I mean, the pieces look pretty good. I do have a small crack right there that I'm gonna have to fix, and it only runs right to the dowel, so it's actually not too bad. We'll stick a clamp on there and see if it'll even come back together. The dowel is still in there really solid, but you can see that these are also double doweled together as well. So get some glue back on these, clamp this thing back together and let it sit overnight tonight, and then after we're done with that, we'll come back out here and get working on the rest of these braces. I mean, look at that's just crazy. Staples everywhere. We'll do something a little bit nicer with this. You know, I'd love to do some crazy cool joinery, but I suck at that, so I'm not going to do it. But I will, you know, make it sturdy enough so that I can actually sit on it. And I got 225 pounds to put on this thing, so it's got to hold. So we'll just play around with this for a little bit and see what we can do. Brand new. Anybody see what's real funny about that? Yep. This is the top. That's the bottom. I was gonna put a chair upside down. That's brain power. I swear I'm going to get this thing back together. Well, I got her all put back together, but of course my camera stopped recording, and well, I'm a shitty videographer. So I don't look up and pay attention to it while I'm sitting here working. I just go to work. So overall, it took me about an hour and a half. Glue set up real fast, so I didn't have to leave it in the band clamp very long. But I'll show you right here. I did go ahead and pre-drill and screw these braces up, because even after gluing these dowel joints together, they just weren't strong. They were still a little wobbly, and so these braces back here really shored this thing up good. So it sits up here pretty square, except my table's not level, and legs look good, and I test sat on it, and it held me up just fine. And so looks good now. It works real well. Legs are real strong, real sturdy. So I'll be able to keep this around for a little while longer. So if you enjoyed it, click like, subscribe, whatever you got to do. But see you guys around next time in the wood shop.